Welcome to Little War Game episode number 19. I'm your host, Tano Circus, and today we're going to go over the concept of incidental damage. That is, the idea of how damage is taken and applied in game. Now, when most people play a game of Little War Game, they're concerned about, as we show the replay between Dragon Archer Z in the top left and YummyBlaBla in the top right, the idea of damage as my units died or my buildings were hurt. I was attacked and something died, or I don't have an army as big as I think I should. Typically, games where direct damage is the big cause of the end looks something like thousands and thousands of gold difference between the two players in terms of total mined gold. Or someone just at the end just didn't have enough stuff, or this person had a fourth base and this person only had three, and that's how the game ends. But in this replay, you're going to see an example of how YummyBlaBla chokes the life out of Dragon Archer Z, not through direct damage, but through indirect damage. So it's important that we talk about what indirect damage means. For indirect damage, it's not the loss of units or buildings, but it's the loss of the things that aren't often counted up or perceived inside of the game. Things like loss of map vision, having to delay your tech, being forced to spend a lot of money on watchtowers, getting delayed in your tech or your expansions when workers die. There's an excellent example of that in AC's video that I just went over in the community update number 8. So these things are ways in which the game can end, and when it does end, it looks flawless, absolutely effortless. It's almost impossible to believe that ending the game was so easy. It's just a culmination of all of these things. Whereas games where direct gold is the ending factor tend to be very long and drawn out affairs. It's important to note that the concept of indirect damage doesn't matter unless you can macro and just spend your money efficiently. But once you get to the point that you can, indirect damage is a very powerful tool that allows you to hurt your opponent by controlling and dictating where their gold that they do mine ends up going, since it's very difficult to kill an opponent outright early just on the basis of having a couple hundred more gold than they do. So we're not going to talk about the tactics that are used in this replay. We're just going to note some of the responses Dragon Archer Z is going to have, and how he is focused on having his attention drawn in other places, or his micro is subpar in some places due to multiple directional attacks from YummyBlaBla, and just how watchtowers get spent over on his end, to end up making the difference in mined gold be small, but the difference over the course of the long game, the difference in who wins the game become very easy and quickly apparent to all. So with that, we're going to go up here to the top left. Notice the watchtower is already going down over here for Dragon Archer Z to hold off this airship. The airship will actually do no damage. No soldiers will get any swings in for the first about 30 seconds of this airship's lifetime. And yet, it's already caused damage in the form of 3 watchtowers. Those 3 watchtowers total to 420 gold, which is about 2 dragons behind where Dragon Archer Z would be normally. Notice also that as this 4th base goes down, the delay in mining time means that he's going to take even longer to get his 4th base economy up, totaling to an unknown amount of difference in gold between the two players. Also, while the attack goes on over there, making sure that that's safe, this attack goes on in here. Dragon Archer Z is attempting to inflict the idea of normal direct damage to his opponent, but he cannot due to the fact that this airship is pulling him in 2 separate places at one time. YummyBlaBla also is causing indirect damage in the form of having his units out and about on the map against a beast player. This forces the beast player to create more watchtowers than he necessarily would under normal circumstances, and it also means that the beast player is no longer in control of freely expanding across the map as he would like. Let's notice this attack. In terms of the concept of direct damage, YummyBlaBla's attack up here at Dragon Archer Z's 4th base is a complete failure. Sure, he kills some wolves and a watchtower, but in terms of killing workers or his direct objective, he absolutely fails. However, the concept of indirect damage is very, very crucial to our understanding of what happened there. That attack forces yet more watchtowers to be produced out by Dragon Archer Z, and allows plenty of time and loss of map control for Dragon Archer Z to allow this 4th base to go up uncontested. As it goes up, YummyBlaBla is going to push in, despite not having much of an advantage or any advantage in terms of the food count. His vastly superiorly upgraded army is going to go and crush through his opponent. And in this way, it's important to note that the longer the game goes on for the player that is using this concept of indirect damage, the more they receive a benefit out of it. We're going to see the GG from both players, and I want you to take a look at how the game actually ended. Let's go over to R T rather, for our total mined gold. Total mined gold difference between both players was only about 800 gold. Yet over 1400 gold had been spent in watchtowers by Dragon Archer Z over the course of the game. He had had his map control and wolf control of the map disrupted multiple times by the airship. He was hit in multiple places at the same time, and his multitasking was stretched thin. And none of these things are reflected in the 800 gold difference. In fact, if the game had only ended with 800 gold difference for YummyBlaBla, then we would have no idea or context of what ended the game. Nor would it be as an absolutely one-sided slaughter as it was. But YummyBlaBla is able to show us that by using this concept of indirect damage over this 15-minute game, he's able to utterly roll through Dragon Archer Z and make it look effortless in the process, despite it being very difficult and calculated. If you're interested in watching more of this replay, or just understanding more of the mechanisms that YummyBlaBla used against his fast dragoning opponent, Dragon Archer Z, then I recommend that you go to the LittleWarGame forums, where under the strategy section I have written up Skies Over LittleWarGame, YummyBlaBla's Barracks vs. Beast. So, if you're interested, go see that. If not, okay. Either way, that's the end of this episode of Welcome to LittleWarGame.